with a lot of players, a lot of respect, but now is not the time for respect, gentlemen. Now is the time to get those elims on the board and get those victory royales. We can see here, round number 10 underway. Let's get into this one.
All right, so Speedy, I think you and I both know where our eyes are going to be locked onto. It's the players you can see with Vinny and Zexro. Are they going to switch things up, or are they going to continue to go the position they've done every single round so far? And Speedy, if they continue to do that, I'm not expecting them to win the tournament, honestly.
Absolutely. Will Vinny and Zexro switch up their landing spot? That is the $400,000 question.
Yeah. And the double trophy question, too. You can see Saf and Zay here currently ranked number 2, heading over to pretty much their similar position that they've been going for the most part here. And why not? They're not really being challenged out too much. And look at this, Vinny and Zexro. What do you make of this, Speedy?
It looks like they're aiming either for Snobby or those houses over there on the left.
If you saw on the minimap as well, there were 2 other players right next to them. I almost want to bet I know who those are going to be. Aim Hero and Fax Fox probably following them to figure out where they're going to go. I feel like you should have even dropped near your last spot. You should have dropped early on the battle bus so no one could actually see or guess what direction you were going. They might have left themselves open to being followed yet again.
What I expected to probably happen is that Aspect and Animal in Snobby Shorts, they've already won that. That's kind of their home already. And Vinny and Zexro trying to get an uncontested drop.
Well, one of our duos that we did see perform so well over the course of today and have their own victory out, Airwax and Nikov. They've already lost Nikov, and now Airwax is trying to fight. He does get the elimination, does take down Tixi, but he's going to be by himself now. Gamers Origin, Jules, and Miz.
We actually saw Nick Mertz here not contested, but moving on over to Scram, ends up going down. And
well, we did move to Scram. Yeah, we did move to Scram. For the second he was alive, though, I know Sakona's going to be pushing up, trying to do something about this as well. But you can pretty much predict how it's going to go in a 1v2, though. We'll see, though. Miz looking to come in from the high ground, actually going to be under the staircase. Going to have to be very careful here as we now hear the trap even coming in. That will be Jules cleaning up Nick Mertz, looking for Ada now, as they do actually have him coming in from behind. And Gamers Origin will win out the fight towards Tilted.
And Nick Mertz and Aiden go to the lobby. Better luck next time, my friends.
Yeah, and also keep in mind, even though it did say currently ranked 28 here for FOD history, it's a close aim here of 203 meters. And looking to spam down on Vinny, put it all on Zexro's shoulders. Can they hit the shots? Can Zexro get here in time to help him out? And Vinny will have to go back to lobby, and Zexro going to be by himself now in this round.
Hero living up to the name, 203-meter knock. This team was still looking for them, and they ended up getting a snipe.
The thing is, they transitioned from Snobby south, right? Why not go north? Why not go a different direction? Why not go away from the duo who's been challenging them the last 2 rounds?
So this is exactly what I was talking about. They just decided to change up their initial drop and then go on with their regular rotation off of Viking through the southern side. But I guess Aim Hero and Fax Fox were looking out.
How often do you hit those shots at the same time, to be fair? That was a great snipe there, as you mentioned before, out of Aim Hero, living up to that name. In the meantime, the duos we did have with History and Fa up against SSK7 and Jamside is looking to come to a conclusion, as now the Brazilian's going to get aggressive here to challenge out against them. In the meantime, BloodX and Zypan going to be up the FaZe crew here. This Nate is actually low in HP.
The action does not stop here in Fatal Field.
They just ripped it out.
Smart move.
Who got that elimination onto Vinny has dropped from Storm Surge. They were not able to find anyone after that elimination and weren't able to keep themselves alive.
That snipe was just not enough to meet the threshold.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate, but that's how the cookie crumbles for him. In the meantime, now Indiza and Svenos able to live to fight another day. Beehive and Coffee, we haven't talked about them too much, but they are still looking decent in the overall standings. In the meantime, Jamside has been able to get the double elimination onto Fallen History, so eventually, after what seems like forever, VP guys will take down their opponents who challenged them out initially on Paradise Palms.
It was hard fought, but GG's.
GG easy. I can still hear every time I see his name, yet. And we have the launch pad being used as 8 safe, going to rotate back into the zone.
So this is what I was talking about. When you're this far away from the zone, you need to put down those launch pads in order to get in. You have a really far rotation, especially with so many people around you.
So high ground to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, Speedy, is going to be even more important once we get those circles moving away from that water towards the western half.
Absolutely. There is a massive mountain on the southern edge that you always want to be prepared to go over. I believe in game 1, we saw most of the lobby go down to one of those mountain zones.
Right. Well, Kripa's going to take down Dementos. And Boyer and Kripa have had some fantastic games. Villix and Kinzel still going to be alive as they were the victors of the last game of yesterday in round 7. Saipan and BloodX looking to maintain some high ground control from that mountain you were talking about, and they do have a good position here.
Then what they eventually want to do is reunite, push towards each other, but they're probably sitting here waiting for the next circle, waiting to see, do I move over to you or do you come to me?
14 builds left for Saf. Zate's able to get elimination onto Nowhere, and Saf cleans it up. So that's going to be a nice little actual income for them, going up for about 14 to 64 mats to build. And they're definitely going to need it because the Storm is going to start to move. And it's going to start to really cause a lot of damage here. Demo has been dropped here by Kuna. So Mitra and Kuna able to get elimination on their side.
You can just see there in the elimination feed just going off. Lots of players going down here. We just moved from 61 to 55 players in a quick second. Animal is still in there. I believe his teammate Aspect went down though.
Jamside was knocked down. You can see SSK7 trying to fight for himself. They do have 2 eliminations between the two, and SSK7 is not going to be able to res his teammate. We did hear a couple of clingers being thrown, and you can still see the stink bombs as well. And look at the position Envy has. He's chucking those as far as he possibly can to get some free damage in. You can see Animal now being forced back to the Storm. He's eventually got to run through this or edit his way out. To the left-hand side, Vilix and Kinzel pretty much being unharmed.
This is a great strategy that people typically use, just using those stinks to get as much damage in as possible, making sure that your opponents are, softening them up as you're starting to get into those later circles. You definitely want to make sure that your opponents are all one-shot if you can, so that you can just clean them up with a nice pump.
So if I'm not mistaken, Zextro has been eliminated at some point here. So Zate and Saf, I think ranked number 2 right now, are looking at this as a juicy game. If they can clean up some eliminations, get a very high place, and they will overthrow their brothers from the US, and this would be a fantastic and breakthrough game for them. Now the zone has moved towards the southeast side. The hill position we talked about before are going to be very important, especially with the zone moving that direction. You can see Izza and Camo, controller gang over here, who have really put some fear into a lot of players' eyes with how they've been able to put out some extremely high elimination numbers. Looking to still fight here to break through into that top 25.
Absolutely, 13 eliminations in game 1. And they have center circle here. They're just kind of positioned and gatekeeping, making sure that they can position themselves as good as possible for that end game.
You see Boyer really realizing there's a lot of risk to goes being used. He's trying to maintain the high ground control, trying to build up a little bit further. Isn't Camo now 3 eliminations. He has a spot into Boyer, and he gets the connection on top of that. So it's a lot of damage being done, but he's being shot from above, and now he's down to 32 HP, trying to escape this one, trying to edit his way through. He's got some small shields to pop if he does need it, or if he has time, I guess more importantly, to pick it up. You can see Skix very low HP, and Crippa with 3 limbs. He does have the backup of his teammates. He has the rocket launcher as well. Actually, they both have one, and that's a lot of damage being done, trying to shoot down a couple of players, but they're not lucky this time.
Blood and Zippin just holding the high ground there. Kinzo actually ends up getting a care package.
Oh, the trap! The trap they put down there, waiting for enemies to drop on top, and works out. Crippa is going to help get the elimination onto that one. Scimitars has fallen, unfortunately, and what a play. What a read into this one, using the rocket launcher to drop people down, and another through. That's now 5 for them as they're looking to clean this game up. Look at that little trap set up perfectly where Bower's more than happy to sit.
That was absolutely beautiful. They had the high ground, they knocked them down, they put down the trap, and they cleaned them both up.
These rocket launchers, look at what they have in their inventory, even a chug on
2
top
launch
of things.
pads, an RPG, 2 RPGs, each one of them with their own.
This could be the game that they're able to pull off. This could be the first time we've seen.
This is Crippa and Boyer's game if they can pull it off.
And yeah, they've not been able to get a victory out so far, but this might be theirs. This might be theirs for the taking. Saf gonna take down Little J. Mitro gonna take down Hubik. Magan just trying to fight his way back through as we have the Storm now moving towards the northern side. You can see Max Caliber off to the completely south side, just kind of being tagged up here. There you go, Jesse's still in there. Jordan, I don't think he's alive anymore as he's just trying to transition. Actually, Jordan is there, so they do have the duos from Australia still fighting. Smeep going to be on ultimate high ground at the moment, but he's going to have to transition very far. Zate has been dropped down at the moment. Saf is trying to fight his way through, and he has 2 players to get potentially pick up here, looking for the eliminations. Jordan's going to be pressuring, Jordan's going to be falling, and that's going to be Jesse as well. The Australians have been knocked out. Jules cleaning up 2 quick eliminations.
Boyer here fighting for the high ground, getting his RPG, ready to knock it down.
It's so difficult to play from the higher positions. It's so difficult to deal with the explosives coming through. And what a shot out of Saf, able to return on. I'm not sure if he actually got dropped in the end anyways from the Storm. You can see Seth now as well. You can see towards the left-hand side, Madsen able to get even further. Camo still alive and fighting, takes down Jules. Saf still alive, gets the elimination onto Vilix. And these rocket launchers are going to be so important here. As the zone starts to close, it moves yet again here, this time towards the western side of Paradise Palms. And Milan and Smeep, who won last game, are still here fighting.
Milan actually gets knocked down off of high ground by Crippa. Crippa ends up taking the high ground. It's now Crippa and Boyer on the high ground.
He's trying to block him. Oh!
And he gets dropped down.
The stairs
The
comes in,
redeploy.
but Ron got the redeploy to stay alive here, so that a fantastic play out of Boyer. It was great to see. It doesn't work on the end for him, but nonetheless, really showing his expertise here, especially in these later stages. 10 players left to go here, Speedy.
They were able to secure the high ground off of that, just not get the elimination. I mean, it's the best case scenario.
I mean, they still win, right? They still win because they still maintain high ground.
Have dominance here from the high ground, raining rockets in.
And the Rockets are doing some serious work. It's disrupting fights. The elimination comes through. That's now going to be 8 for them. Boyer and Crippa able to get up to 9, I think, potentially, and maybe a 10th as well. They are cleaning house here, Boyer and Crippa.
Mitro and Tux with the launch pad. Mitro, can he take the high ground?
Oh, he's trying to, and it looks like he has been able to. He's got a player buff. It's going to be Seth, though, and Madsen's going to be here to join his teammate to take this high ground away. But for how long? Because the RPGs are still in play. They get knocked down another time. You can see Seth and Madsen now up to 3 eliminations. But Boyer and Crippa, the game's been all about them. 9 elims between the two. But look at this. Now they get a 10th as well mixed into this. Tux is going to fall, unfortunately, to the storm. And these RPGs are going to be even more important here.
Boyer has 0 mats. He has to rely on that RPG. He needs to knock down these builds.
Mitro still alive from the very, very low ground. And Crippa and Boyer, who've been at the high ground for such a long time, going to be knocked down, and they might actually get a knock yet again. Here's Seth, going to be able to save himself with his own catch of the building. But with 5 players left to go, you can see the chaos here from all these players. Mitro going to take down Boyer, so that's going to actually be a little bit of a pain here for Crippa. As now Mitro looking to push in. He's looking for some elims, has 4 total across the team. A little bit now of a slower pace.
On the low ground, Crippa and Mitro.
He's got one thing to build with. He's trying to knock Crippa down, and Crippa's saying, no, not today. You can see towards the back, Boyer trying to claw his way back in. That's the 5th elimination, able to help heal Mitro up a little bit further, up to 153 HP. Madsen and Seth, though, in the meantime, still have the high ground. The only 2 duos remaining, or duos that have both players up alive and running. Crippa's going to fall to low ground, trying to take down Mitro. Mitro will fall. Crippa, though, still inside the storm, taking a lot of damage.
Ground battle. Now, it's a 2v1.
Yeah, 2v1. You shouldn't be losing this if you're LDLC. If somehow Crippa can pull this back, I'd be amazed. But he does get shot from the high side. And LDLC, Seth and Madsen will take the victory royale.
Mats becomes an issue, and to hold down that high ground does become a problem. But now look at these duo stand-ins. Oh my word. Let me do the math. 2 points is what separates our first and second place teams. It could not be tighter. Just 63 points separating our top 5 now. We've seen that picked up in 1 game.
That's honestly, like, the thing is, look at Aerox and Nikov. Like, to me, that's like the big story. Yes, Vinny and Zextra, they've had a rough 2 games, but these 2 players kind of came out of nowhere. Not really in contention. I remember they started off yesterday, and they had like 5 points after like 2 games, and yet they've been able to make themselves into the top 4 position now. That's fantastic.
Demo and Bizzle actually creeping on the leaderboard. So we've mentioned before they weren't performing, you know, in terms of top 5s,
right,
but they're still consistent, and that's being rewarded.
And Camo and Issa as well, we talked about them. They're really performing well today. You see, they shot up the leaderboards as well. Provoked and Tux kind of slipping down a little bit, but I mean, you can still see how tight every single points gap is between all these teams and their surrounding duos that are around them. So we talked about how things have been changing up and how they're going to continue to change up. Those gaps keep closing. However, one thing I do want to point out is the fact that